My daughter popped in for a surprise visit the other night just because she wanted to use our hat press to make some hats. Her little Etsy business has really taken off, and so we've got some resources she didn't have yet, and she came by to borrow it. But while she was here, she brought her youngest son with her, who's just about 3 years old, and he stole something on the way out the door. Welcome to Leading Leaders Podcast, 5-minute videos, 5 days a week. I'm J Loren Norris with Leading Leaders Podcast. What he stole was fascinating because they play with them every time they're here. We have on our refrigerator magnets, and they're pictures that came from an event that my wife and I went to years ago, probably been 7 or 8 years ago, maybe longer than that. But we were all dressed up, and the photographer was doing prints on site, really nice shots in front of a big millionaire staircase, and then printing them out and putting them on giant magnets. And so we have them stuck on our refrigerator. And all of the grandkids that come here move them around and rearrange them and carry them around and stick them on other things and all that kind of stuff. Well, when he left the other night, he had wrapped it up in his little arms and was carrying one of those pictures out the door. And we got all the way to the car. And as I buckled him in his car seat, he looked at me with a big grin on his face, and he handed me back the picture like he thought he snuck it out and nobody knew. And he handed me back the picture of my bride, and he said, "Here, you keep Lolly, put her back in the house." Now, my core value today is family. And your family may not look like my family with 4 children and 8 grandchildren and mom and dad and that little pyramid structure. It may be different than that. I know my family was different growing up with a dad and then a stepdad, and then the stepdad died, and then mom never remarried. And so we had a fragmented, no father in the home kind of a family. And I was the only son, so it was a little different kind of a family. And my dad has made the comment that dad doesn't know who his father was. So yeah, they're not all families are the same, and some families have different marriage structures. Some never legally get married, and that's okay. Some families are just adopted, and they're fostered, and some are fostered several times and move from home to home. But when family is a core value, what that really means is that you have an inner circle of people that you love unconditionally, who love you unconditionally as well. People that you know that your deepest, darkest secrets are safe with them. They're not going to betray you. They're not going to leverage your maladjusted idiosyncrasies for their own financial gain. Family means I can trust you with my hurts. I can trust you with my successes. Family means when I succeed, everyone in the family celebrates. When they succeed, everyone in the family celebrates for them as well. That's what family means. Family means we have a common bond that far exceeds our socioeconomic bracket. It far exceeds our college degrees or our pedigrees. It goes way beyond the community that we live in. We're family. And family does things for each other. Now, there are also other families. There are families of a community, families within a workplace, families within a religious bond or even a racial bond. And there's nothing wrong with those kind of families. Families that are extensive, like those families that have 13 siblings and now 40-something grandchildren. That's a great family as well. And if you remember old Hank Williams Jr., we all have our own family traditions. Some of them are good family traditions and some of them are horrible. But see, right now you have the chance to decide for yourself the traditions of your family going forward. I was watching a video of a comedian. His name is escaping me right now. They say he's one of the most hilarious and most famous comedians of all time. I'll think of his name in a moment. He made the comment that when he was growing up, his mom used to tell him all the time, sometimes you have to be a lion so that you can be the lamb that you are. And his dad told him one time, if you're going to be successful, just establish your price now. And if you ever get to the place where making it cost more than the price you've established, walk away. And he had a chance at one time to make $50 million doing episodic television. but it went against his core values. It went against the grain of who he was, and he walked away. He said, I can't do it. The money's not big enough for me to sell out my soul. Family was his core value. Who I am and what I believe and the things that are around me, that's more important to me because I have core values. They make decisions way ahead of me. I don't have to wrestle with hard decisions when I have core values. And if family is a core value, it might mean you give up that job that makes all the money that you ever wanted, but requires you to move across the country without your family. It may mean that you give up that school because something in what they offer is contrary to family. Now, that doesn't mean that your family should hold it over your head or that your family should guilt you into behaving the way that only your family wants you to. A family should also support you to springboard you into the next level of life and then celebrate catching up with you, not being the crabs in a barrel to pull you down. And I have to be honest and say there are sometimes people in your family that you simply have to leave behind. That's hard to say, but it's true. If you've been an abuse victim, if you've been assaulted, if you've been taken advantage of, there are people in your family, people who should have taken good care of you, who didn't, who failed to do that. And their right to be loved and respected as family members has been revoked by their own behavior. But whatever kind of family that you have, whatever family structure you live within, prioritize your family. Because when you have an established core value of family, you know that you've always got a safe place to call home. And that matters more every day as our world changes and as your life comes closer to its end. And every day, your life comes closer to its end. That's just the way it works. In the words of the famous Lilo and Stitch, as Stitch is about to board the rocket ship to head back to his mother planet in handcuffs, he turns to the woman who is the would-be ruler of all things and says to her, "Can I at least say goodbye?" And she said, "Say goodbye? Why would you want to say goodbye?" He said, "This is my family. It's small and it's broken, but it's good." I'm J Loren Norris with Leading Leaders Podcast for Tell It Like It Is TV. Have a blessed day.